Around 124 years ago, in March of 1898, the British, who were then colonizing Kenya, began constructing a railway bridge over the Tsavo River. During the next 9 months, 2 male lions stalked, killed, and devoured an inconclusive number of Indian and African construction workers. Welcome to the first episode in this brand new series called OOA, Oh Amazing Africa. It's your girl Zawadi, and I have performed a deep research revolving around the context of these murders, how many people were killed, what happened to the lions, and where you can see them today. Kindly make sure to subscribe. Sisi Africa definitely thrives on your continued support. Asante. It is estimated that 135 people were killed by the Tsavo man-eaters. According to the journal of Lieutenant Colonel Henry Patterson, who was in charge of the construction project, 135 workers were killed and eaten by the lions. This estimate has, however, received a rebuttal from a 2001 review which estimated the deaths at about 28 to 31 victims. However, this review notes that this number only refers to deaths within the Indian population. Patterson's journal further reveals that the casualties among Africans was higher, but those numbers were not documented. According to another chemical analysis from Chicago's Field Museum that interpolates the possible casualties, it is reported that one lion ate about 10.5 humans and the other one ate 24.2 humans. These numbers from the Field Museum also don't take into account the people who were killed by the lions and were not eaten. Zoologists have explained that the Tsavo lions acquired taste for human flesh from eating the bodies of slaves who had died and were left unburied. A worker on the project explained that the lions not only ate flesh, but they devoured bones and blood altogether, leaving no trace behind them. Everyone on the campsite knew at least one person who had disappeared, and their remains were never found again. According to the accounts of Samuel Kasiki, the Deputy Director of Biodiversity Research and Monitoring with the Kenya Wildlife Service, Arab slave caravans had for centuries passed through Tsavo on their way to Mombasa. This particular area was prone to sleeping sickness from the tsetse fly, and death rates at the time were very high. The bodies of dead slaves and those who were dying from tsetse bites and other causes were often left where they dropped. It is supposed that the lions may have acquired taste for human flesh through eating these corpses because of long drought periods and the rinderpest that killed their usual prey. In addition to this, other scientists have claimed that human flesh was much easier to chew. According to Patterson's examination of the skull of one of the lions, a severe tooth abscess was seen on its jaw. Note that broken teeth are a norm for lions, since their faces often receive strong defensive kicks from prey. Patterson's speculation is that the pass pocket might have made it too painful to catch and eat tougher prey, and therefore the lions turned to humans since they were much easier to catch and their flesh was easier for them to chew. Another 2001 review explained that the lions typically ate the large fleshy parts like the buttocks, thighs, and arms, and other wild animals that are scavengers by nature would finish up the remnants. Interestingly, the 2 male lions had no mens. Before I continue, kindly subscribe to this channel and like this video so that we can reach a wider audience. While it is common for male lions to lack manes, it is not completely unseen. Depending on the environmental and genetic composition, there exist a few male lion species without manes. Males in colder areas have bigger manes than those in hotter areas. The length and density of the mane is directly associated with temperature. This is why some Asiatic lions have a weaker mane because of the hot climate. Some communities had first believed that the lack of a mane symbolized the intense aggressiveness of the lions because they communicated to others that they did not need a mane as a shield or protection to its neck during fights. In short, the Tsavo males did not have manes simply because it was hot, extremely hot. People began referring to the lions as the ghost and the darkness. Here's why. The two lions embodied these names. During the day, they would stalk the campsite, and at night, when construction was halted and workers were sleeping in their tents, the dark, silent night would be ornamented by the screams of unsuspecting Indians or Africans being stolen away into the savannah. In the beginning of the attacks, the lions were often never seen or spotted. People would disappear with no explanation, never to be seen again. Over the 9 months of terror, sightings of the two lions were very, very few, not more than 20, yet the lions attacked almost every other night. According to Patterson, the attack started with one lion at a time entering the living areas and soon escalated to the two lions entering together, each seizing a victim and dragging them off. Soon, construction workers tried to scare off the lions, to no avail. They built campfires at night, constructed bombers, and even put a thorn fence created from the whistling thorn tree. The whistling thorn tree was known to scare off animals due to the eerie sound it produced. Whistling thorn tree simply refers to a species of the acacia tree found in savanna woodlands, such as those in East Africa. When the wind blows over and through it, it produces a whistling noise. However, the lions could not be stopped by this. They simply jumped over the fences or crawled through them and into the bombers. In one particular incident, colonial officers who had arrived to intervene were attacked just on arrival at the train station, leaving one dead. After many construction workers fled and construction was halted, colonial officers decided to intervene in the hunt for the lions. When the district officer, Mr. Whitehead, arrived with his crew at the Tsavo train depot that evening, one lion attacked the group. Whitehead narrowly escaped with his life, but the lion left 4 long claw marks that ran down his back. Unfortunately, Abdullah, who was his assistant at the time, was killed. The hunt for the lions was long and difficult, and they could not be killed by a single shot. Much later, other officers arrived, including 20 armed sepoys. Patterson's earlier attempts at trapping and killing the lions had all failed. With the assistance of the sepoys, on 9th December, Patterson shot the hind leg of one of the lions with one bullet from a high-caliber rifle, wounding it, but it managed to escape. Later that same night, it returned and began stalking Patterson. This time, he shot it through the shoulder and into its heart with a more powerful rifle. The lion was found dead that morning near Patterson's living quarters. The first lion measured about 9 feet 8 inches, which is approximately 2.95 meters long. While its weight is unknown, it took 8 grown men to carry its carcass back to camp. The second lion was even much harder to kill. Patterson shot it up to 9 times, with 6 bullets hitting their mark. The first shot was taken from a platform Patterson had built. 11 days later, 2 shots from another rifle hit the lion as it was trying to flee after stalking Patterson. The next day, Patterson shot it 3 more times, crippling it. He then took another rifle and shot it 3 times again, twice in the chest and once in the head, finally killing it. Patterson wrote that the lion died biting on a fallen tree branch, still trying to reach him. Patterson used the lion's skins as floor mats for 25 long years before selling them off to the Chicago Museum for a total of $5,000 in 1924. The lions are available for viewing at the Chicago Field Museum. The first specimen, FMNH 23970, is called the Standing Mount, and the second one, the FMNH 23969, is called the Crouching Mount.